easily be mistaken for a typical Samburu village in northern Kenya, where women do all the work while men laze around all day.
Samburu women, we work from morning up to 11 at night, you know. And these men, they are just sleeping under the trees from morning until evening, doing nothing. After that, you just come and ask for food, for something else. You just do, it's just a woman who is doing everything. There's nothing they are doing.
But there's something very different about this Samburu village. Men are forbidden to live here. Women rule in the village of Umoja.
We don't allow the men in this village. They just walk around looking what we are doing. But we don't care. We just look at them, let them go. Provided they have not beaten us, just leave them go. But we don't let them come and rule us again. Yeah, we rule our village.
A couple of kilometres up the road, the men have set up their own village so they can keep a close eye on the rebellious women. But their village is not very inviting. The roofs of their huts are made out of plastic rubbish instead of the cow dung used in the women's huts. This could have something to do with the fact that they have no cows. They're also struggling to cope with doing all the women's work. So what lies behind this great gender divide? At the heart of this unusual story is the reported behaviour of British soldiers. About 200 Samburu women from this district say that in the 1980s and 90s they were raped by personnel from a nearby army base. A class action is now being taken against the British Army on behalf of the alleged victims. In Samburu culture, a woman who is raped becomes taboo and is ostracised by the entire community. She's often whipped and thrown out with nothing, not even her children. In 1990, a small group of homeless Samburu women decided to band together after their husbands threw them out.
These women, they have been raped by the British Army.
Rebecca Lolosoli is the matriarch of the village they created.
The majority have been separated with their husbands because these men, they said, you must be sick now. Some said you will not get babies, so there's every time conflicts because of that rape.
Rebecca had not been raped, but in the eyes of her husband's family, she was guilty of another crime. She was too outspoken.
This is my son. Oh. Yes.
She left home after her in-laws tried convincing her husband to whip her and founded Umoja as a new home for herself and the rape victims.
So this means they don't want us to be having a good life. They don't want women to be empowered. This means they just want women just to be under them. They don't want women to have any right.
Over the years, the original founders of Umoja have been joined by others. There are now 50 women living in the village, and they make their decisions by consensus. Many of the women have fled domestic violence. In this patriarchal part of the world, it seems it's all right to beat up your wife if she steps out of line.
That's very good.
Now the women are determined to make the most of their newfound freedom. Samburu men traditionally get the choicest cuts, while women are only allowed to eat the neck and intestines. But these emancipated women feast on the forbidden meat with pleasure. Turning Samburu patriarchy on its head has angered the men so much that they've recently started to mount daytime raids on the women's village, often demanding money. At one point, they even tried to steal Umoja's cows. Today, one of the men has come to threaten one of the women for being fat. He's clearly outnumbered, and the women throw him out. The next day, I visit the men's village to ask the man why he resorted to violence. But do you think that attacking the women is the way to go? The Samburu people once relied on herding livestock to survive, but long periods of drought have caused heavy livestock losses and food shortages. Now their primary income comes from passing tourists from the nearby Samburu Game Reserve. Today the women are making a firm platform for a new campsite. Carrying heavy stones would normally be done by men.
Because we found that we didn't have any good income in the camp, and we decided to put up a village for the tourists to come and see our lifestyle.
It takes 3 days to make the traditionally beaded necklaces the women wear and sell in the village trinket shop. Tourists pay a small village entry fee and are welcomed with a traditional song. But the men are jealous of Umoja's success and try to compete with the women. They have a hard time getting tourists to stop at their village, so resort to hailing tour buses and pleading with them not to stop at Umoja. But they fail miserably.
This one is a donation from the Madrid group from New York.
While the women have managed to deal with the extreme poverty that plagues the region, donations of any kind are still very much needed. What do the women do For sex?
For sex? I don't know about sex because we don't have any men in here. Everybody here is like we have forgotten something like sex. We just sometimes sit down, then we talk. It is just like fun.
I later discovered that the women only have sex when they want to have children. There are now more than 50 children living in Umoja, being educated in a school built from foreign donations and income from tourism.
The ladies, they actually live here?
They live here.
Yeah.
They are permanent here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And their husbands?
There's no husbands here.
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like this. Husbands are like big children. Where's my beautiful box? It's fine for
Sammy Griffiths runs a safari camp next to the nature reserve.
They like this one.
She'd like the wives of her workers to emulate the success of Umoja.
We're starting our shop, but the ladies where we are as yet haven't had anything to do with tourism. So we need to learn a lot from Rebecca and her girls as to how they can make their produce suitable for people who would like to come and buy it and to support the community.
Sammy Griffiths wants Rebecca to help set up a similar venture near her safari camp. To get to the site of the new women's village, Rebecca has to cross the Samburu Game Reserve with its wealth of animal attractions. This is it, the new women's village, but this time the men have agreed to its construction. But they won't help with the building.
You can see the men are just sitting there, looking at them working. In our culture, men will never touch this work. This is work for women.
While Rebecca freely gives advice on tourism, she takes this opportunity to convince the women of the importance of educating their children.
I'm telling her that child should go to school because you are denying her rights. That's what I'm trying to train these women to know the rights of these children, because they are still very much behind these women.
Female genital mutilation is another thorny issue that Rebecca is fighting to have outlawed. But again, the women are not keen on the idea.
They do the circumcision, female circumcision, very much here, cutting very badly. I told them that I have experience because that's what they have done to me. And after just a few minutes, I fainted because of bleeding and was about to die.
On our way back to Rebecca's village of Umoja, we stop at a traditional settlement where Rebecca plans to discuss women's rights. But before she manages to even speak, the men step in.
Australia.
But the men don't have the power in Umoja, and they're afraid of what it represents.
So good to have a place which or something which makes these men to be scared. Don't let your wife stay there for more than a week. Please don't let her, don't let her drink the water from Umoja. She'll be influenced by Umoja. You'll not get her back again.
Yes, it's a good beer.
Getting the women back to the men is now the sole concern of Sebastian Lesenik, the chief of all the villages in this region. Today, he's paying a visit to the men's village next to Umoja. He wants to set up a reconciliation meeting with the women.
Nada. Nena. Donne naga deshin o tuya kuma kosa. Naga bayan. Ragwana ni. Nigini na. Nigini wana. Aru ga mayan na. Ya mayan. Dai tuki dai na. Kaji mi ke faro ngi kuma.
The chief is satisfied that some of the men are willing to have a reconciliation meeting. So the next day, he sets out to convince the women.
Okay.
But they have no respect for his authority.
We have our own chief, Rebecca Lolosoli. Yeah, that's our chief. We listen her. You can't listen the men.
Rebecca arrives and the women reluctantly gather to hear what the chief has to say.
Don't be harsh to me anyway. I'm not your husband. I'm just a peacemaker person. And I would like to come and talk to you while we arrange a day, one day that will make you together with your men.
But when we go back, we get the same problems, and you will be not there.
But we will be there because absolutely we are going to. I'm assuring you that we will take care of you. Slowly, Mama. Being separating the children is very bad. That's why
the children belongs to both of us.
Yes, but you have
men and women, no problem.
And you know,
we take care of the children. Even always they don't take care of the children. We do take care of the children.
But you know,
if they get problems with the crocodile bite there, we just assist them. But they don't assist us.
Keep you
just
together.
Tell them, leave these women, give them peace, don't disturb them.
Cool down, ladies. I'll try to solve it. Bye-bye. I'll see you. I'll come again.
The women of Umoja are determined to hold on to their independence. They know that they'd be forced to give up simple pleasures like this if they return to their husbands. These women have tasted the freedom of an afternoon swim after a hard day's work, and for them, there's no going back.